How's the tea? It's kind of blue. Huh?
It's the butterfly pea, a nervine. So it's like really good for the nervous system. Relaxing.
Butterfly pea.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called.
Butterfly pea is the flower. Yeah.
Oh, I thought like butterflies peeing. I was like, that's so cute. I love it. So here's Nikita and I for bedtime meditation, drinking butterfly pea.
Crown chakra tea blend from Magic Hour.
Yeah, that magic hour is right now because we are here to meditate, and I love having a guest. How come I feel like you're like way back here? I feel like I'm a giant right now next to you. Maybe I need to like we're on the love seat. Okay. Okay, so what we did, we're running out of space now. We just did card pulls, intuitive card pulls, and Nikita is here visiting. And so she helped me intuitively bring messages on IG Live. And then we moved the meditation here on YouTube so that whoever wants to join us, it's here and they don't have to get on to the social media platforms. And that way, if you like this meditation, you can come back and listen to it over and over again. And I never know what's going to come out in meditation. We just go intuitively tap into the energy and the flow. And one of the cards that we got that just literally jumped out of Nikita's hands as she was shuffling was Traveler. So Traveler card it says move in a new direction. So that's going to be our theme for the meditation. And she looks like she could be hanging out here. She is hanging out here in spirit with us. So Nikita, why don't you, first of all, why don't you introduce who you are? Because I'm hoping that people that come on here, they know I'm a therapist and I'm a wellness coach and a consultant, and I mostly now do skills groups for healing trauma. I do meditation, I do hypnosis, I come on and do educational videos on YouTube and social media. I talk about sexuality, spirituality, which is my PhD dissertation research. But Nikita is a dear friend, soul tribe, and kind of like medicine woman and massage therapist, and you always have all the good tinctures and all of that stuff. So you tell them what you do.
Yeah, pretty much that. Ayurveda is my foundational basis, which I like to move through life, connecting the mind, body, spirit. I appreciate body work and massage therapy. So providing like healing touch and presence is very important to me to integrate things in the mind. So I appreciate Natasha's work with the mind body medicine. I really resonate with that. And just really alchemizing inner healing is what I appreciate and love to do, with using the energies around us, with the elements, and creating different ceremony and ritual, all on the path to connecting to our inner self and sourcing from within. So it illuminates within. And I also like to speak poetry and spoken word as incantation along with my practices. So
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so on Instagram, we tagged you as Moonlight Ayurveda, which is your business page. And then you're also Lumina Rising. Both of those pages have some of her essence and her poetry. And she just put a song on. Did it post on SoundCloud or YouTube? And YouTube. Or just SoundCloud?
Just SoundCloud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's beautiful that she created in collaboration with our friend Kiyoshi Music as well, who's been on
Shyla Ray's on the
on my course. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kiyoshi's course.
So check her out on Instagram as well. And one of the things that I love about Nikita is we traveled together in Tulum over Thanksgiving with a group, and you can find out more about that trip in my Tantra in Tulum videos. So we have a video actually in the hot tub at Tulum, and then we have one processing the whole trip the week later when we came back. And you'll see her there with me and just traveling around and getting into interesting situations in Tulum. I realized that Nikita and I were often tuning into the same energies or the same vibe. And then when I looked at our astrology, I realized I'm a Taurus with Venus and Aries, and she's a Aries with Venus and Taurus. So we often are seeing, yes, there's the infinity loop. So we're often seeing things in similar ways. And I'm a bit older, so, well, quite a bit older really, but we're in different, who knows? You can stay around as long as you want. But we are seeing, we are also often seeing things in a similar way, but from different life stages, basically. So that's wonderful. And what I love about you, you have this wise woman, sage energy where you're like really just tapped into all the different dimensions and levels, but you have this youthful spirit as well. And so thank you for being here and bringing your energy and your intuition. So I'll meditate together. So anyway, we pulled this traveler card. So I'll have you, did you already introduce that one? I was talking, I was going to give it to you to introduce, but then I'm like, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to look up what it says in this book, but maybe you can share with everybody the theme that we were tapping into with the traveler and moving in a new direction.
Yeah, so we were discussing that the traveler card, in any form, traveling, we kind of touched on astral traveling, just because we haven't been able to really move about the earth to different places. But I like how she has the compass in all the directions with the map behind her. She's just ready to go, like ready to just travel. And it's almost like she's harnessing her inner energy. She's cultivated so much during these times and now ready to really share with the world, I feel, and rooting down her time in. So she could be carrying a little medicine pouch here too. You know, she has a lot of gifts to share and travel around the world to touch many more people.
Yeah, and our friend Chad that we were traveling with on the last night swallowed some cenote water and he wasn't feeling so good. And we were worried that he might not be able to get back on the plane since everybody's so scared about any itty bitty symptoms right now. So it's kind of funny because we both travel with a medicine pouch. Basically, we have different types of medicine, but similar. And so he's like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. And we're both like,
we got it.
What do you need? We're here throwing pills at him, throwing supplements, throwing tinctures and balms and sprays and doing everything. So definitely resonate with that medicine woman energy. But the medicine bag, the medicine pouch, it's really about carrying your healing messages with you. And so we all have an invisible medicine bag. So for some, you were just talking about, it's your incantations, your poetry, your voice. For me, it's more so my hypnosis voice or my meditation voice, less my singing voice or musical voice, although I'm a big appreciator of music and used to play saxophone. And what are our other healing modalities? We just went to the beach today and put our energy into these beautiful yellow flowers. And it was Nikita's idea to basically plant them in the ocean and give them back as an offering to Mother Ocean and let that wash away. That's a form of medicine. There's so many different ways to heal. And this traveler card is really about, somebody pulled the seer card just before that. So it's really about tapping into the future that you want to have. So right now, maybe, kind of like even the ghost of Christmas past and the ghost of Christmas future, as he changes his way of living, as he changes his perspective in the present, the future starts to shift. And then you see it also like in Back to the Future in those movies. And as they make little minute changes in the present, the future starts to shift. So you can do that. You have that power. And whatever it is that we're creating collectively right now, if each of us are tuning into our highest and best future, what does that mean? If we're all interconnected, then we get to create. This is a very fertile time for us to create our highest and best future. And for those of you who are watching live, I'm also keeping an eye on the comments. So before we go into the meditation, if there's any questions you have or anything you want to add to this, feel free to type in the comments as well. And so this traveler, it kind of came up at a point in our conversation when we thought, it's moving into a new direction, in a direction that you have control of. But I wanted to read a little bit more from the guidebook. And this is Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors card deck. to see what more they have to say. And so it's okay. So this is interesting. Message is welcome any opportunity to travel, either to the outer world or to your inner worlds. When we went to Tulum, it was because we were traveling in a small group. We actually could afford something that we might not have been able to afford anytime. So believe it or not, a week in Tulum, Mexico cost me less than 2 days in a beach house in Mission Beach, which is an hour away here in San Diego. So it was nice to tap into that, and then to have all of these beautiful experiences that a change in perspective allows you. And then also, Nikita mentioned in lockdown, we can't travel except in our minds. We can't travel except in our dreams. We can't travel except in our inner world. So when one door closes, the energy, of course, is going to flow in another direction. So I know for me, being in lockdown has had me more intuitive. I have had more powerful dreams. I have connected with my soul tribe folks, where it's like those people that really get you. If you only have a chance to get out and spend time with a few people, a handful of people, because we're all in this weird social distancing situation, who are those people that make it to that small little circle, right? And then you have to start thinking to be very selective and really make the most of those connections. So that's a form of travel, is connecting with those folks. So the traveler says, welcome any opportunities to travel. It says a traveler card represents the gypsy spirit within. The opportunity to move in a new direction is coming your way, and ancestral wisdom is encouraging you to welcome it with open arms. Going on a trip is an exciting process, because not only do you learn about the world, you also learn about yourself. And did we ever in Tulum? Oh man, that was something. All of us, we really learned about ourselves. And us as a group, we learned we really like to travel together. Let's keep doing this. This card often comes up when you have a chance to go through a process of awakening and understand even more about the amazing qualities you have to share with the world. Again, your medicine pouch, your medicine bag. So good eye with that. Let's see. Okay. Often such journeys can be lonely, but this in itself can teach you that you are never really alone, and your angels and ancestors are there for you. I think all of us have felt some level, if not multiple, of loneliness during this quarantine, during this lockdown. And that's what's up right there, is that you're never alone, because it's always your connection with spirit. And a thing that we've been talking about a lot lately, because when we were in Tulum, we created this feeling of love, right? And so most of us there were single, and we were traveling with one couple, and it's like creating that love and coming back feeling like we were in love. And like, how do you create that without it being about another person? Of course, we were there with many other people, but it was like that love energy bouncing back and forth. It was that oneness with the ocean, with nature, and all of that. And then when you're in that feeling of love, it can't help but find you, right? And be reflected by another person, maybe your person, or multiple people that come in for a moment and add beauty to your life, and you share some beauty with them. And it's such a beautiful process. And so that's a journey too. And we often think that if we don't have a physical person next to us, that we're lonely, but that's not it. It's really about that spiritual source. And when that physical person arrives, how do they help you? How are they your accountability partner in staying connected to that place? And we come here alone as babies, unless we're a twin, I guess, or a triplet or whatever else. But we definitely go out alone too. You don't get to choose when your time is. So, or maybe you do, I'm guessing, not consciously. And so you're never really alone when you're tuned into your spiritual source. It says the road you are on may be the road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your emotional and spiritual growth. Anybody feel like they're going against the grain right now? They're not following the narrative. They're not following the herd. That is, you're probably on the right path if you are. And I'm not saying be oppositional, but trust your spiritual guidance, trust your intuition. There's a lot of like different energy happening right now, and people are in their egos, and people are in their shadows and their shadow side, and they're saying things to save face, and they're saying things to have an appearance, but they're not fully grounded in their highest truth. And so if you are, then you don't need to be listening to anybody else. Definitely follow what your intuitive guidance is. It says, if it isn't about covering outer distance, it's about covering distance within, and you'll be evolving every single moment of it. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load. That's what also came up that you mentioned, you picked up on with the feather card. So we're moving into air energy. Things are about to get lighter. Keep it light. Get rid of heavy emotions, heavy situations, maybe even heavy belongings, old stuff that's weighing you down. Get rid of it right now. Lighten up. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. You're also being encouraged to see how far you've come and how far you've really grown as a person, because this recognition will support you in going even further. You were talking about that earlier today, how much you've grown. Yeah. And there's a good chance that along the way, you'll make new friends who will become companions for a lifetime. Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Anything else come up for you as we read this?
Just the new direction, really. It's like if we have been going in a repetitive loop or a cycle, because sometimes we might walk the same path over and over again. So if we kind of just like stop for a minute and change direction or get a new perspective, it can really reveal something else. Different angles. So I think that has a lot to do with how we perceive. Even when we travel, how do we find our way? Do we have certain points that we're at? Like, I know myself, I get turned around a lot and lost, but then there's a beauty in being lost, because I get to tune more into my listening and then get a new direction, because there's no wrong way, really. You're not going to be punished for doing one thing or another. It's like, okay, we get to be invited to travel the inner realms, the dream realms, the land, your backyard. There's so much abundance around us, and even tuning in.
And we were listening to Dolores Cannon last night after Nikita rolled into town, and I was super sleepy, so I fell asleep right when it started to get good. And then she stayed up and told me I missed out on, like, she did a hypnosis at the end and all this stuff. Anyway, she's no longer alive, but she's sort of like a soul, sort of like Edward Casey, where she was able to tune into future occurrences. And she predicted a lot of things, which is really interesting. So some of her predictions, she's passed on now. We don't know if they're going to come true or not. We'll see. But she was saying some really interesting stuff about, I think she was saying about also like tuning into different futures, wasn't she? Maybe you could probably tell it better, because I fell asleep and I lost some of it. But what you were just saying reminded me a bit of, what she was saying as a spiritual truth too, and connecting to that guidance.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of trust too. Like even in her eyes, she just looks so ready and determined. Like she's clear. She knows what she's doing. So I feel like, we're ready.
Ready to go. Ready to go. Okay, so let's meditate, since we've been talking for a little while. And I'm going to set down my butterfly pea. Yeah. It's really pretty too. It's like a light, can you see? It's like a light blue. Anyway, and it's in my unicorn mug, which is one of my spirit guides that's been with me a long time. All right, so if you are, I wonder if we can have like a little back pillow. Oh, that's the little ones, but I think they might still be in the dining room. That's okay. We'll just lean back, lounge. Okay, so if you're with us and you would like to sleep and soothe yourself into a bedtime meditation, you can lie down now in your comfortable spot. Maybe you're lying in bed, maybe you're on the couch, wherever you're at. Make sure your body is supported and you're not twisted in any way, or your neck's not propped up too high or whatever else. Because if you fall asleep in that position, you can do some damage. She's a massage therapist. She knows. She's taking care of you when you do that. And then maybe even ground your feet into the ground if you're sitting. And if you'd like to stay conscious for this meditation, and by that I mean remember what happens here, then you might choose to sit up and keep your spine straight. And what we'd like to do today is focus on that future vision and see where you're traveling to. create the vision. We have a powerful new moon coming up this week. You're definitely going to want to plant some seeds energetically to let this new moon ground it in. And if you do that, you're going to be seeing some beautiful flowers blossoming in the next couple months. I'm talking from the astrological forecast. I've heard this from several astrologers of what the universal energies are. So begin to relax your belly. And you can consciously imagine your belly muscles relaxing by imagining an ice cube melting, or imagining even like soft pudding, or even you can imagine warmth. So imagining the sun shining on your skin and allowing that warmth to soak in and relax you. And the reason that we focus on relaxing the belly, this is a technique called soft belly that I learned at the Center for Mind Body Medicine, is it allows your lungs to open up further so that you can take in more breath. And if you're having a hard time taking in breath, like you're feeling some tension or blocks, ask yourself if that correlates at all with your ability to receive. How good are you at receiving compliments or receiving help? If somebody opens a door for you, do you step through or do you argue with them about who should hold the door open? How good are you at receiving nurturing and care? Do you feel automatically like you need to compensate somebody or immediately give back or promise them something as if it was a transactional thing? Or are you able to receive and trust in the flow? And knowing that you give them the pleasure of giving while you have the pleasure of receiving. And then soon you'll have the pleasure of giving. And as we mentioned earlier, it's that infinity symbol. So imagine that symbol, that infinity, constant giving and receiving. This is that age of Aquarius energy that we're moving into now. This is the world that we can create. If we're all givers, everyone is nurtured. There's always enough. Imagine that world. What would it take to create that? How can you create that in your romantic relationships, in your partnership, in your families, in your work environments? And I understand that it's not often safe to do that if you're with a group of takers, because you'll be used up and tossed out. And to be honest, there's a lot of jobs that treat employees that way. And if that's been your experience, you can ask yourself, why am I here? And if it's at least meeting your basic necessities, what is your short-term exit strategy? So that you can work in a career or a job that treats you as a valuable human being and not a resource to be used up. And as you encounter friends and lovers, are they treating you as a valuable human being to be invested in and to be watered? Or are they treating you as a resource to be used up and discarded? And so as we create this future world vision, you contribute to that beautiful future by being aware of your energy leaks and the ways that you are spilling out energy without even realizing it. And that you can conserve and reserve that energy for the good of yourself and the higher good of all without being stingy. This is not about being stingy. This is about being smart, discerning, aware, and stepping into your self-worth, knowing your value. And so the image is coming to me now of the throne. So you can imagine yourself now on a throne, the king or queen. Maybe you have a king or queen next to you, and you're co-ruling. You are sovereign. You're not saying that you're better than any other human being, but this is your queendom or your kingdom. And so you get to say what happens here. You get to call the shots because you've created it. And so each of us in our lives and in our desires, we don't have to compromise our vision because our vision is our vision. That is our kingdom. That is our queendom. And so imagine yourself on that throne. What are you wearing? What makes you feel beautiful and powerful? How do you adorn yourself? So often, especially with women, we think that they're decorating their bodies and themselves to attract the attention of men. And most of the time, it's for ourselves. It's so that we can look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I feel good. I look good. This makeup is for me. This ring, this jewelry, these colors that I'm wearing today, they're for me. So what would you be adorning yourself with? Whether you're the king or the queen, makes you feel good. And what kind of rules or guidelines or laws, sacred laws, would you have in your queendom or kingdom? For instance, I think of mine, it would be something about pleasure. Everything would be pleasurable, or at least as much as possible. There'd be soft surfaces and it would be warm. Nobody would ever be hungry. You would have nourishment in all ways. It would be a delight to the senses. Smells and colors and textures and sounds. Everything devoted to pleasure, because why not? Why not make it as pleasurable as possible? In my queendom, we would honor our energy cycles. We would not beat ourselves up if we had a plan for that day, but we're just not feeling it. Because our energy or somebody else's need for your presence is there. And time would be bendable and flexible in that way. And words would not be used to harm. Words would be used as a massage, an act of love. What are your rules, your guidelines? What would you be embodying? And how would you enforce it? For me, I think I would just live it and show people how good it can get. Be in my pleasure, be in my joy. Show up rested and vibrant. It's the best testimonial for anything. And so if you can create this in your mind, certainly you can create this in your everyday life. You can create this tomorrow morning. How can you embody some of those desires, some of those guidelines of the world that you'd like to live in? Because if enough of us say, this is how we want it, this is how we envision it, and then we naturally, energetically assemble into little communities that live by those values. And then we join with other little communities into medium-sized communities. And there are certain values that are so universal and so beautiful, so nourishing to every human that they can't help but spread universally across the planet. And so now let's peek into a preferred future. Let's say maybe 6 months to a year in the future. Maybe it's this summer, maybe it's next winter. And remember that a year ago, we couldn't have even guessed the world would be what it is right now. We couldn't have guessed. And by that logic, the world could be an even more surprising place a year from now. And if that's the case, that means anything is possible. So no limits here. It's your daydream. It's your preferred vision. And please don't think that you have to wait 20 years because you're following the linear laws of life to get what you want. And you don't have to know the how. You just have to know the what and the who. What do you want to feel? What do you want to experience? So bringing those guidelines and those ways of being from your kingdom or your queendom, and bringing those and pulling those into your near future life. Where are you sleeping? Imagine yourself now waking up in the place that you'd most like to be. Your body fully rested, excited for another day. What are you waking up to? What does your bed look like? Feel like? Are you alone or is there someone there with you? What's just outside your window? What's the view? What city or country are you in? What do you do for work? What are you passionate about? What is your medicine? Your gifts? What are you contributing to the world? And how are you able to do that in a way that you can actually wake up rested, feeling free, and moving in your own times and rhythms, able to take the time to really be present with the people in your life and the experiences in your life and all of your senses, and tuning in to your needs and desires. It takes us a little while to be tuned in. We spend So much of our lives being taught to turn off our needs and our desires so that we can do things in a way that's convenient for the system, or whoever is the authority, or whoever is making money by us contributing and being part of this process. But if you're to take back your power and your sovereignty, to honor your own rhythms, and to know that when you can honor your own rhythms and you have that freedom, you can create. When you're stressed, your creativity shuts down. And so we have this self-care and we're living a life that we truly love. Our creativity blossoms and flourishes. And then when we have that creativity, wow, we can offer our gifts. We're productive. We're aligned. We're not wasting our time on other people's ideas and visions. We are aligned with ours. So what is your life's work? What is your passion? And if you don't quite know, just notice what imagery is coming up for you now, some visions. How are you spending your day? What kind of foods are you eating? What are you doing for fun? Who is your community and what do you do together? You are a beautiful spirit, an energy in a human body. You've been gifted this beautiful human body. How are you taking care of it? How are you feeding it and adorning it and nourishing it? How are you using it to express love, giving and receiving? How are you allowing your body to be in the best traveling condition so that you can show up and be of service and build a life that's beautiful and sustainable? And what kind of money do you need to be making to nourish your vessel, this beautiful body, to nourish this home that nourishes your body, your family, yourself? And how do you step into a bigger version of yourself in order to make that money or those abundance returns, trades, whatever it is, to create this lifestyle? And remember, it's very rarely about money, happiness. Research shows you need just enough to not be stressed, to be able to pay your bills. But true happiness comes with connection. It comes with creativity. It comes with joy and laughter and having loved ones around. And you have to understand that that is also a measure of wealth. How wealthy are you in friendship, in health, in free time, in beauty? And how can you teach and guide others and inspire others to create their own wealth in free time, in friendship, in beauty, in joy, in laughter? What is your medicine? In the next few moments, I'm going to stay quiet and allow your soul to speak to you. Notice what images come up. Notice if any creative downloads or insights come up. If you want, you can call in a spirit guide. Maybe someone who showed up on your card tonight. or someone you talk to regularly, a religious figure, an ascended master, a guardian angel, love itself. Let's use this time for undirected daydreaming, tapping into your own wisdom and see what guidance you get about what's to come 6 to 12 months in your future, if you are to choose your reality. Can you hear the sounds of where you're at, where you're living 6 to 12 months in the future? What are the smells around you? How is your body feeling in this environment? Are you feeling safe and protected? Is your heart open and warm and expansive? Does laughter come easily? How do you move your body? Do you dance? Play sports? Do you exercise? Swim? How does it feel to be this future you? Maybe present day you gives future you a high five, congratulates them for what they've created, and maybe you even ask future you, what decisions did you have to make to get here? What discernment did you have to use? Who did you have to cut out of your life? And who did you spend more time with? What risks did you need to take? Who were your biggest supports, your guides, your role models, your A team? Who's suited up and ready? And what skills do you need to learn to get there? What intelligences do you need to develop? What emotional healing do you need? What bags and baggage do you need to cut and leave behind to be light enough to travel there so quickly? Let's ask Spirit now, our higher self, our greater self, if there's one thing that we needed to leave behind now and to let go of to make the biggest impact and the biggest alignment to where we're going, what would that one thing be? And just listen for the answer, the feeling, and image. I hope you got your answer. It might have been something that surprised you, or it might have been like, oh, this again. Thought I was done with that. So let's be done with it. Whatever you got, that thing that is going to make the biggest impact by your forward progress and your forward movement, imagine it being a symbol or an object. That thing that came up, what was it? Now toss it into a trash bag, maybe even a biodegradable one. And we are going to bring it back to the compost pile. And we'll say thank you for keeping us safe and small. Thank you for keeping us reflective about our life. But I don't need you anymore. I'm traveling. I'm traveling light. I've seen where I'm going. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I can feel it with everything in my body. Every cell in my body is vibrating to that reality, that new future. And I don't want to come back into this present. I want to be there already. So you can't go with me. I'm sorry. And so we're done. And I send you back to the earth with love to be composted and transmuted, recycled. And you are free. And as you release that and you send it into that trash pile, imagine it dissolving into the earth with your strong intention, your energetic intention to let go of it. And you might even feel an energetic release through your body. Sometimes I feel this like my stomach flipping, like when you're going over a roller coaster, or shudders through my body. That's when I have a strong energy release, but you might have a very subtle one. You don't even feel it, but you notice that you're real tired or hungry or thirsty afterwards as you replenish. Many times when I call in protective ascended masters such as Archangel Michael, I can feel a stronger energetic release. He comes in with a sword, and you can imagine him as blue light, and he's cutting those attachments and those patterns and those cords because his intention is to protect you. And he often protects people who are vibrating to that throat chakra energy, that blue, the people that are speaking their truth, that are getting their words out there and expressing. He's always there to protect. Just remember to call on him. Let him guide your path. Let him guide your travels. Even when I'm literally traveling in my car or a plane, sometimes I call and ask him to be with me just to guide and protect the plane or to protect the car. And so we can call on him now to protect us traveling in these different dimensions when we go to sleep and doing the work doing the energetic upgrades in this meditative altered state right now. We are doing so much energetic work, upgrading, and our physical body now is tasked with keeping up, catching up. And so be gentle with yourself as you need more rest, as you need certain types of food, as you need more food perhaps, or less food. Maybe you need more love, more nurturing, more cuddling. I know that often when I'm filled up with so much love energy, I crave less food energy. And I don't need to eat as much. And then other times when I've released a lot of energy like this, I am very hungry afterwards. Just listen to your body. It knows exactly what you need. And so as you're releasing what no longer serves you, what's keeping you small, what's keeping you just safe enough not to be seen or not to be using your medicine, fill up that hole, that space now with love energy. Fill it up with juice and the fuel, the energetic fuel that you need to take you forward. And so let's ask now, what is that juice? If there's one thing that will be like rocket fuel for us, that will help us shoot into this preferred reality even faster, what would that be? Ask your greater self, your higher self, your unlimited self. That's a ball of energy contained in this skin suit for now, but has lived many, many lifetimes before and has so much wisdom to tap into when you just tune into it. What is the one thing that could make the biggest impact into coming into that future now? Mm. I hope you got an answer. I hope you trust your answer. And so now imagine what that is, that fuel. And imagine receiving it into your body, into your energetic field. Maybe it's a color, it's a mist. Maybe it's got a symbol. A texture. Let that replace what you just composted and put in the trash. You have your protection. You've gotten rid of what is slowing you down. And now you've added your magic sauce, your jet fuel, your rocket fuel. Are you ready to travel? Our own mind, our own limitations are often the biggest obstacles. And so if you keep tripping up on your own mind, your own limitations, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or another provider, another practitioner that can help you rework the way you think about things, the subconscious mind. I offer things for every level. Obviously, we are here for free right now. I do group work online, in person. I do individual work. If you're not ready to play big yet, to step in this bigger version, why not? What's holding you back? When is the right time? Are you charged? Do you need support? If you do, assemble your tribe. Find your love tribe who's going to help you find the open doors and the portals to get there. And so as we drift off into sleep tonight, or as we come back into our present moment awareness of these beautiful bodies, see yourself in that future one more time. Smelling the smells, hearing the sounds, noticing where you live, your bedroom that you're waking up to every morning, how it's decorated. And promise yourself, I'll be back. Thank you for showing me. And then bringing all parts of you and your soul back into this present moment in time, back into your body, this beautiful body. And promising yourself to get into action in whatever way that means for you, one step in front of the other, knowing that sometimes it'll be a tiny little baby step, and other days it'll be a giant leap forward, and trusting that process, trusting yourself, but always knowing that you're moving forward. Each and every day you're growing. Biologically, we can't help but to grow and evolve. So committing to that future, committing to yourself. And as your body invites all parts of you, all of your strength, all of your sovereignty, all of your wisdom from this lifetime and many others back into this present time and space, you can begin to be aware of your body. I like to start with feeling my hands on my thighs, feeling the warmth of this human body. Feeling the energy that is now redistributed all through my fingers and toes. My circulation is good. My heart is calmly beating. My breathing is deep and strong. Calm and relaxed. And just coming back with so much gratitude, so much passion, so much awareness. Gently fluttering your eyes open. Realizing we are so lucky to be alive. Here we are. I've got my sister right here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Precious.
I know. I'm so happy. Thank you for being here with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And experiencing that. Gosh, and thank you all who are still here. And gosh, this ended up being a long one, but please share what you experienced if you want to. If you want to share, Nikita, anything you experienced, you don't have to. I know this is live.
Yeah, I mean,
on YouTube, but
it was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's so many ways to perceive how we've been doing things, why we're here now based off our choices, how do we make different choices, and ultimately, like, how do we find that trust source for what we envision, and how do we stay kind of on that path or in that direction, and recognize it in the people that cross our paths. And yeah, it's a beautiful dance. And there was a poem I had written a couple years back when I went on a little pilgrimage here in Thousand Oaks, like a botanical garden. I can share it. It kind of weaves together like the nature and our card readings and what we've been speaking to. So
I would love that.
Yeah?
Please, yeah,
Okay.
please do.
Okay, so
Bonus.
poetry. So it's called Fragrant Flowers Bloom in Ecstasy. Fragrant flowers bloom in ecstasy. I see with the capacity to feel into the depths of agony, solitude to move me through, a pilgrimage. Listen to the trees whisper imprints of breath, of lives lived, is in quantum physics connected. Fractal weaving spiders symbolize infinity, encircling the stream as the sun reflects on each molecule of water, liquid light to quench our birthright. Transform matter, alchemy, imagery to create reality, thinking, feeling, intuiting, words vibrate meaning as we perceive individually and collectively to dream into being. Dream on, dream on.
Beautiful. Yeah, wow, that really does resonate with what we just went on. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Wow. All right. Well, there we go. There's your bedtime meditation for February 5th, 2021. It is going to be a wild ride, I think. So, you know, if we're going to be on a roller coaster, if there's going to be high highs and low lows, might as well throw your arms up in the air and whee!
Yes, ebb and flow.
On the way down and the way up. And as you're climbing, you know, that anticipation, that excitement. And then if you find yourself down at the low, like, how are you going to get through it? Might as well feel it all. Might as well. I was telling Nikita, I was screaming into a pillow during the full moon because I had so much energy coming through my body. And my awareness was that it's all this drive and this, like, even though it's astrological and it's like a lot of stuff coming down, I wasn't expressing. I have all as a gift. I'm thinking, like, what's going on with my body? My body's breaking down. I've got tension in my shoulder. All of this stuff is stress. Where's the stress coming from? Life isn't that bad. But I realized it was a gift. I was being sourced with all of this energy and this drive, but I'm not doing enough. I'm not getting in action enough. So it's stagnant within my body. And once I reframe that, I realized, wow, this isn't stress. This is like adrenaline to be used to create my dreams and to create this new future reality. It changed everything. It shifted everything. I was up till 4 a.m. the other night, just mapping out my whole year. And now I feel so much at peace because when somebody asks me, can you do this? Or would you like to do this? I just look at my calendar. Yes or no, I can't. It's already planned based on what I want to create. So I encourage you to be looking at those reframes as you're feeling into tension or stress or these other words that we use. It's all energy. So how are you going to use it? That's abundance. That's the infinity symbol. That's the composting. Take what you no longer need, compost it, give it back.
I feel like we should definitely invite forgiveness too. It's a key element to whatever might have hindered us in the past, or we think we should be doing something, or we didn't utilize this time in the best way to make this move. It's like just being present to everything unfolding, maybe when we're ready. There's a larger trust here, and I think for me personally, a lot of forgiveness has been invited because we're all healing and learning. And I feel that frees us from whatever part of us is trapped in a time that we might be looping back to. So with the new direction and traveling, we can forgive where we were, how we came to be. And yeah, just invite that.
Forgiveness is a huge piece. And I think we spoke on that earlier when you're cutting cords or where you're letting go. Yeah, it's replacing it with forgiveness. And I know for me, a lot of it is self-forgiveness. So self-forgiveness for putting myself in these situations where I was maybe mistreated or abused or wasn't following my path or thought I was doing the savior thing by tolerating less than palatable circumstances or whatever else. And I know for me, the word that came up was self-doubt. That's what I composted. That's what I buried. And then what do I need? What's my rocket fuel? It's trust. Trust, which is also, and when it first came to me was trust in everything. Trust the process. Trust the people that are showing up and showing me their heart and soul. But also, even more than any of that, probably is trusting self and trusting your intuition and your guidance. So, if you're watching this video live, or even if you're watching the recording, put in the comments what words came up for you. What are you leaving behind? What came up for you for your rocket fuel? And know that as we're now in this conscious alert state and we're talking, left brain forming words, you might get a different answer than when you're in the subconscious altered state when we're perceiving from the right brain. We don't need words. Sometimes words come up, but it gives us messages and colors and images and smells. And if you didn't see anything, when I do hypnosis with people, they say, what if I don't see anything? It doesn't matter. Did you feel something? Did you sense something? Did you get a whisper or a hint? We all perceive things differently. And so if you're not a visual person, that's okay. I happen to be a very visual person, so I enjoy imagery of hypnosis. Spirit speaks to me in imagery and metaphors. Sometimes in my work anyway, but when I'm out and about, it speaks to me a lot in songs and things on the radio or number sequences or synchronicities, things like that. So be aware of all of that. That's your spirit guiding you. That's shaping you so that you know what door to open and what portal to take. It's going to leave some breadcrumbs for you. So trust that too. Well, I hope this has been nourishing to you and that you've appreciated it. If you have, I invite you to sign up to my newsletter, natashaedwina.com. I just switched to a different platform that I'm really excited about because now I can share photos and it's more sensual and beautiful than the platform I had been using. So I realized that it wasn't fun for me to send out a newsletter because it was just these words. So now I'm hoping to commit to that and make it a more beautiful process for myself and for others as I tell my stories and share bits of knowledge that I've gained along the way. And offerings, the world is starting to open back up, at least for us a little bit here in California. So I have new offerings that I'm coming up with and collaborating with and lots of creative ideas coming up. So if you want to stay in touch with that, and I don't know, Nikita, do you want to share anything about your offerings and what you got going on right now?
My offerings are being contemplated. So, and that whole visualization of where I want to be, that's currently what I'm working on. And it's definitely just to show up with what I mentioned earlier with the Ayurvedic wisdom and really the subconscious and dream realm, and just having that space of like no judgment, just being who you are, having open dialogue, being open to receive messages. Really, I feel like that's like a harmonious space I would like to provide. So follow the journey, because I feel we're all alchemizing and doing something different than I thought I might be doing. Like I have my desires on what I'd like to do based off experience and my studies. And then I'm also listening to what's actually wanting to flow through. So currently massage therapy and respelling reality through my words. So if you want to support any of my poetry or music, I'm just showing up. I'm doing my best to express and not be afraid of the judgments. Really, I'm on this journey too, and healing, alchemizing shadows and different traumas. So I definitely have a lot of beautiful visions that I'm anchoring in, and yeah, I'm sure we'll cross our paths through this time, space, astrally, yeah. So thank you for being present. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. It was a pleasure. I'm like, are you staying tonight too?
Yes.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, you're gonna come on Bedtime Meditation with me. I would love to have you as my guest. So I'm thrilled. I always love having guests. So
I was like, oh shoot, okay. I've never done this live stuff before.
You did awesome. You did awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you're very comfortable and relaxed. It takes a little while. The first time I ever put myself out there on video, like I don't even like having my photo taken. I'm all like super awkward and my arms are doing weird things or whatever else. But it's like that first one is so hard. And then once you get over the hump, it's like, here we are. And we're just talking to our friends. They're in there watching or sleeping maybe by now. I don't know, maybe you fell asleep by now. Anyway, we'll be back. I'll be back on Tuesday. So I changed it back to 9 p.m. It just seems to work better with the flow for bedtime meditation during the Mercury retrograde. Then after that, I can't promise anything. We'll see what happens. But I also have a show here on my YouTube channel every Monday, the Spiritual Sexual Empowerment Show, Goddess Vibrations, focused on some of my PhD research with spiritual sexual energy, relationships, relating, intimacy, all of that stuff. So I hope you join in. And there's a whole playlist already. I don't even know how many episodes, but such valuable wisdom there. If you want to learn a little bit about your body, relating, particularly with an emphasis on female sexuality, because not enough people know about that or talk about that. So somebody's got to.
Yes.
So we're talking about opening up the voice. And then also, I'm assembling people for my next 12-week Mind Body Skills group, which is healing trauma in a very pleasurable way through the mind-body connection, mind-body science, relaxing the nervous system and just letting everything float away that needs to go away. So if that's something you're interested in, please contact me on my website, natashaedwina.com. And until then, we will see you again soon. Hopefully Nikita will be a regular contributor and guest on these collaborations. And this isn't the last you've seen of her. So
more stuff.
more stuff coming. Mind body medicine.
Poetry.
Yes. It's coming. We got the flow. We're on the same level, just different ends. So hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful evening, and hope to see you again very soon.
Dream well.
Good night.